We call China Silent Army this book because the key issue in this Chinese expansion, we believe, it's this silent issue. Let me elaborate. We were in a dinner in Khartoum with Chinese businessmen and Chinese representatives of state-owned companies. And we were having, I would say, a quite candid conversation with them while we were sharing some Chinese food. And then we started to talk about what China was doing in Sudan. And the Chinese started to explain to us and to say very openly that they were there to help the Sudanese people, and their projects was about engaging with Sudan and help Sudan to develop. And there was one of these gentlemen, and he said, while the Americans came here earlier to bomb Sudan, we came here to actually invest in Sudan. It is not the colonial traditional way of invading countries and take over those countries. They are doing it silently because they are doing through economic expansion, but also because of the characteristics of China itself. You see that there is not a huge degree of transparency and checks and balances. I think that there are probably two things made us quite astonished. The first one is the scale. We were very surprised, and even some of our colleagues that were helping us with their research, some of them Chinese, were also very surprised to see that you are going in the middle of nowhere in a desert between Turkmenistan and Uzbekistan, and you are finding a gas camp with over 2,000 Chinese workers, and that they are working so hard, in a completely hostile environment to build a 6,000 kilometers gas line to link these natural reserves with the kitchens in Shanghai, for instance. So this, even if you are reading sometimes this in the news, when you witness that, is another story. One thing is economic growth and investment and loans. And another thing quite different and not always linked is development. And in a way, what you witness when you are traveling to all those regions is that China has been, yes, investing very much and doing infrastructures, but also has been exporting to all those countries the very same side effects that you would see when you are reporting in China. Environmental impact, social impact, no checks and balances. And in a way, what you witness is how the state-owned companies and the diplomacy, they are working together to take over the world, if you allow me to put it in these very journalistic terms, but they are doing it in a way in which we can see also these side effects. So this is why we believe that after all this research, you need to explain the whole picture. Why we should be here in the West kind of reluctant to say what we have to say about this Chinese expansion or this Chinese engagement. I don't believe this is something per se that is negative. I think that it's legitimate that China becomes a new global power because it has been for so many years. So I don't see any reason why we should be reluctant to give our opinion, and of course we need to keep in mind what has been colonialism, and of course this is something we have to avoid, to reproduce, but I don't see why we should be reluctant to explain or to give our opinions just because 4 or 5 centuries ago happened what happened.